Get some chance of snow early. It'll become partly cloudy with a high of 32 degrees, and Saturday will be mostly cloudy with a chance of some light snow and a high of 30 degrees. Right now in Madison, it's 33. In Green Bay, it's 33. In Waukesha, it's 31. And in Milwaukee, it's 36 degrees. I'm Sean Brinda, Science Unlimited. WTMJ News Time is 6:07.
Your need-to-know cultural snapshot of Wisconsin and beyond. This is What's on Tap with Sandy Max. A deep dive into all things intriguing, riveting, and entertaining. Now, here's your host, Sandy Max.
Good evening. Thank you so much for joining me. It's a one-hour show stuffed with uniquely Wisconsin holiday cheer, and you are welcome to join in on the WTMJ Talk and Text line as you listen to my guests this next hour. 855-616-1620 is the WTMJ Talk and Text line. We welcome your thoughts, your comments, your questions as you enjoy these holiday conversations with a very local focus. Milwaukee singer-songwriter Sarah Fyrick, she will join me in the WTMJ studio at 6:30 to share her newest annual holiday song. And for 5 years, Sarah has created and crooned a Christmas song that always connects with a charitable organization. We'll learn about Sarah's music-making process, her inspirations, and her motivations to make a positive difference with her talents. But first, we get to enjoy stories of Christmas traditions and memories in Milwaukee and Wisconsin with my very special in-studio guest. He is a guest you would want at any cocktail party, maybe hang out at the bar at the supper club, or just stroll the city with a cup of coffee. He is historian and author of over 20 books detailing in a delightfully engaging way the history of Milwaukee and Wisconsin. And one more thing, you'll recognize his face if you see him on the WTMJ YouTube live stream. You've seen him on PBS with documentary specials and on series sharing fascinating facts about our area. Please welcome John Gerda.
Boy, cue applause.
I know. I had to roll out. It's a thick, long red carpet to roll out when you're as established as you are. How are you?
Just fine. I like being described as a barfly. That's a useful role to play.
But that's where some of the best stories get told.
Sure.
And that is how you bring history to life, because you always tell it as, hey, I got a little something to tell you. It's never stiff. It's never dry. You can always relate it to something. And it was fun to watch you. I introduced you to Sean Brinda of the WTMJ Newsroom just now. And I said, hey, John Gerda is our authority on all things historic about Wisconsin and Milwaukee. And what was the immediate question he asked you?
Was the Pestico fire bigger than Chicago's? 1871? Yes, it was.
I was like, all right, see, you tested him. You were right there for it. But it's not always tragedies or these milestones in history on the timeline or even landmarks. You also are so well researched and knowledgeable and lived life here in Wisconsin to know about our cultures and our traditions. So now that it's Christmas time, I thought it would be great to visit with you. What are some unique ways that we celebrate Christmas here in Wisconsin?
Certainly there's a strong ethnic pattern here. The Germans gave us the Christmas tree, and that's something that we've all enjoyed. My own family is Polish and Norwegian, and we do kind of a hybridized celebration. Christmas Eve is always lutefisk and lefse.
You taught me this last year. Remind everybody what lutefisk and lefse is.
Before refrigeration, they would dry codfish until it was as hard as a baseball bat. You could break windows with it. And then to serve it, they would reconstitute it with a mild lye solution. So it turned to something just a little gelatinous. It's an acquired taste.
I was just going to say, it sounds so appetizing.
A lot of butter, is a lot of butter and salt. It kind of drowns out some of the textural issues.
And how does it smell when you're preparing?
Strong. But now, these days, you get it frozen, and you thaw it out, put it in the microwave. So it's gotten a lot easier. That's my job on Christmas Eve. And lefse is basically a potato tortilla. They're really good. I had a Norwegian aunt who could roll it out to probably feel like 3 feet in diameter, and that was always a Christmas present. We get lefse in the mail from my Aunt Jake from out in Coon Valley, Wisconsin. But then the Polish traditions are strong as well, and they just had this last weekend. The Polish Center had a Wigilia, vigil in Polish, and that's the meatless Christmas Eve meal, always fish. And some of the details there, you'd put straw under the tablecloth, remembering the manger. And you'd have always a place that was empty there making room for the Christ child, although he wasn't there yet. So that was they really do a nice job out there, and we'll do some of the foods at home. But then you may recall, Sandy, opłatki, which is a wafer about the size of a postcard, imprinted with a nativity scene. And what you do is on Christmas Eve, and we've done this for my entire life. You take a piece of the wafer, everyone gets a piece, and then you go around one by one to everybody in the room, in the family, and you break off a piece of theirs and you eat it. They break off a piece of yours and they eat it. And you wish each other whatever you want for the coming year. And for my dad, who was the Polish side, it was more, good health and prosperity in the new year for my family. In large part because my wife's side tends to be more emotive, than some of the others. It'll go on for 45 minutes.
Oh, yeah. Gift of gab. I could imagine but wait, I like you. I want to wish you something else.
Right.
Yeah, I could see that happening. How funny. My dad is the Polish side of my DNA swirl, and he grew up in Detroit, so a lot of Michigan Polish immigrants there and generations there, and his father owned a Polish bakery.
Oh, really?
At the time in the 40s, yeah. And he kept all of his mother's, but my grandmother's Christmas cookie recipes.
Oh,
and
so
I
you
still
have
have
Punchki for
those.
breakfast every day?
No, I know. Wouldn't that be delicious?
It would be.
But it is fun to carry those. That's one way to carry the traditions down for family members who are gone. It's through the food and the recipes and the sharing of the food and those memories.
Yep. Yeah, emotion is embedded in food and song, as well, and music. And Christmas carols, we always have Mazowsze, which is the Polish choir chorus on the stereo, as well as St. Olaf Choir, where my wife went to school, which is very heavily Norwegian, and they always have a lot of Norwegian favorites there. So it's our house. We do Christmas, fairly aggressively.
And how many little ones are going to be running around at Christmas for you?
This year we had Thanksgiving, so they'll be at their in-laws for the most part for Christmas. But we'll have the kids across the street are between the ages of 2 and 6. We'll be over, and we'll head up north to our place up there as well, hoping for snow.
Those ages of little kids who just full of the Christmas spirit and anticipation for the presents and eating the sugar and the wiggles. That just sounds like such Christmas fun for you.
And they still believe.
Yay! That's very special and very sweet.
It is.
I want to talk more about some other Christmas traditions that were outside of the home and in the streets of Milwaukee. That is your tease. Stay with us here on What's on Tap with historian John Gerda, next on WTMJ.
Tony Drake here from Drake & Associates. Big news. Our retirement-ready radio show is moving to a new time slot. Catch us at noon every Saturday. At Drake & Associates, we craft tailor-made plans that not only meet your financial needs, but align seamlessly with your unique lifestyle. Tune in at noon on Saturdays and get retirement ready.
Drake & Associates, LLC is an independent investment advisory firm that offers a variety of different investment vehicles. This commercial is provided for informational purposes only and should not be construed as individual investment advice. Drake & Associates, LLC does not provide legal or tax advice.
Here it is, just before the holidays. You're sitting around trying to figure out a perfect last-minute gift that you can order quickly online. Well, how about tickets to the Greater Milwaukee Auto Show in February? Buy a single ticket for a friend, a pair of tickets for date night, or buy a family 4-pack and take everybody all at a discount price of just $11 each. They can see all the latest vehicles, including cars, trucks, and the latest EVs. For advanced tickets, go to autoshowmilwaukee.com. That's autoshowmilwaukee.com. Discount offer ends on December 24th.
For over a century, local broadcasting has evolved with the needs of the community. We move past the stigmas of opinion journalism and bring the most relevant news online, on air, and on the go. You have trusted us with your news, sports, weather, and entertainment. Trust us to keep moving with you. Text radio to 52886 and tell Congress local broadcasting is here to stay.
The original Botana's Restaurant. More than 50 tequilas, 20 different margarita flavors, convenient parking, and the best service in town. Stop by to enjoy their weekday lunch specials. The original Botana's on 5th Street.
You're listening to What's on Tap with Sandy Max on WTMJ.
We are indulging in some real Milwaukee and Wisconsin Christmas memories with historian and author John Gerda. You recognize him from PBS, and maybe you have one of his 20 books. John, you have just such a wealth of knowledge, and how wonderful that you have also written these books so you can preserve it and share it.
Well, if you do it for 52 years full time, you better pick up something.
Well done. And I had you visit me last year because you just released your guidebook.
Yeah, that's right.
Which is so great because it's really digestible and you can do it in different neighborhoods. So where can we get your books?
County Historical Society on King Drive in Kilbourne, they have them. Historic Milwaukee Incorporated, Broadway, Michigan, they sell them as well. So online, my website has the access data, just johngerda.com. So they are out there. And I've heard somebody actually, the route for the guidebook is 20 some miles. Somebody ran it. So, I guess they were taking turns, kind of reading the text.
That's a heartier soul than I am.
I agree.
So we were reminiscing about Polish traditions and Norwegian traditions around Christmas time that you remember fondly and still do today, and songs and the German Christmas tree. But there was something in the streets of Milwaukee for decades at Christmas time that you know a lot about.
This was a Schuster's Christmas Parade, and it's largely forgotten. It's kind of a boomer memory and the boomers' parents. So it ran from 1927 to 1961. And it was sponsored by Schuster's, which was at the time the largest department store chain in the entire state. They go back to the 1880s, and their flagship store was on Garfield and what's now King Drive, the old 3rd Street. Mm-hmm. And that is now Thrive on King, which is Greater Milwaukee Foundation, Medical College of Wisconsin, affordable housing. So it's really big. It's reborn, completely reincarnated. They also had stores on 12th and Vliet and 11th and Mitchell. And sometimes they talk about the strength of neighborhoods in Milwaukee. They were the busiest department store chain in the state and had no downtown location. They were doing all that retail volume in the neighborhoods. And back in 1927, they began as a promotion and kind of a public service, a parade that ran along the streetcar tracks. And it touched all 3 of the Schuster stores. The route was 7 miles.
So it went from store to store to store.
Store to store. Yeah, so it hit Vliet, hit King, or 3rd, hit Mitchell Street, across the Menominee Valley. So it was a really big deal. They would get as many as, the estimates were around 300,000 people watching that parade. It was always the Saturday after Thanksgiving, and it was on flat cars supplied by what's now We Energies, which was then the streetcar company, Electric Railway and Light, and they would fill the Cold Spring shops, which were near. They're still there. The shops are still there. Different, very, very different kind of customers now, but very close to Miller Brewing. And they would have these large flat cars, and they'd put up, Cinderella, 3 Little Pigs, Big Bad Wolf, kind of sort of fairy tale scenes, and they would have, kind of engines that would take these trains all around the city. And the highlight was always, of course, Santa Claus at the end of the parade. He'd be on the flat car. And in the early years, they had 6 live reindeer.
Live reindeer
on the car with him, tended by a real live Eskimo, is how they promoted him, named Mitik, who was a guy who lived on the West Side and spent the rest of his time in the service department during the year of Schuster's, kind of taking care of equipment. So he was all dressed up in kind of the seal coat and the mucklucks and kind of
the way you would imagine an Eskimo to traditionally look, sure.
A real Eskimo. And that lasted for quite a while, but having 6 reindeer on a flat car for 7 miles, that's
live reindeer. That's wild.
That's asking a lot.
Well, and I was going to say 2 things. First of all, Chris Foran from the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel published a story about the Schuster's Parade last month, and has some fantastic black and white photos, mostly from the 50s. And what struck me are the balloons. Like you just talk about Cinderella fairy tales, but the ones that they showed there's a big mermaid, there's a griffin with a really long tail, there's a 2-headed monster, and these aren't balloons that are flying in the sky with helium. It's like the Boy Scout troop walking along, blocks and blocks. Now that you talk about how long this route is with these balloons, so that was fascinating to me, and a little more like. I was just talking with T. Krulos about Krampusnacht Festival recently. So, you got these parades and strange characters. It was almost mythical beasts.
It was.
In the 50s for those photos.
And kind of Milwaukee's version of the Macy's Parade in some ways.
Sure.
It was elaborate.
Well, and you talk about 300,000 people attending. I can believe that more after learning more about the Great Circus Parade and the documentary that Milwaukee PBS did recently, because that was summertime,
Right.
and it was almost between 500 and 800,000 people who were going in that same time frame.
Right.
So why do you think the parade stopped happening in the 1961?
Technology. So what happened was the streetcars were kind of being pushed aside by motorized transit, rubber-wheeled, rubber-tired transit. So they began to have buses very early on. Back in the 1920s is when that begins. So year by year, the streetcar service was cut back and back and back. And during World War II, they tore out the tracks for steel, for the war effort. So you have the planners had, as well as they could, they would kind of reroute, to sort of like jumping from ice flow to ice flow. The three streetcar tracks that were still there. They finally gave up, and in '55, they put all the floats on trucks, including Santa. And by this time, they'd had enough trouble with live reindeer that they had stuffed reindeer.
That makes a lot of sense. I just think, I'm surprised there isn't some story about a reindeer who got loose.
There may be, or had an accident on the flat car.
I'm sure. Yeah, I didn't even think of the cleanup of 6 live reindeer on Santa's float. Good Lord.
So that lasted for another 6 years, and Schutzer's got bought by Gimbels back in '61, and that's the last year of the parade. So Gimbels went in other directions.
There you go. Historian John Gerda in the WTMJ studio with me. And John, when we come back, I think I might have one more question about Schuster's and a Christmas tradition. So stay with us on What's on Tap.
The Upswing is your place for commerce and community.
Are you seeing the customers expect maybe a different brand type in Green Bay than they do in Milwaukee?
Yeah, I think so.
Hosted by Jeff Sherman.
A little bit mid-tier price point people tend to gravitate towards in Green Bay. Of course, you have the high-end shopper up there, too. Definitely more towards the casual side of things.
Weekdays from 10 to 11 on WTMJ. Presented by Horicon Bank, the natural choice for all your banking needs.
I'm Sandy Max, and about this time tomorrow, people are going to be gathering at Broken Bat Brewery for WTMJ's Trivia Showdown, presented by Quizmaster Trivia in support of Capco's Kids to Kids Toy Drive, which will kick off at 7 o'clock tomorrow night at Broken Bat Brewery. You can grab an unused, unwrapped toy, some of your favorite friends, play along, have a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun last Wednesday in Waukesha, me and Jeff Sherman and Jessica Ty. It's a really good time. It's a good excuse to get your friends together and have some fun in time for the holidays and do a really good deed for Capco's Kids to Kids Toy Drive. You can get the info at WTMJ.com. And if you can't make it, you can still help by texting Capco, K-A-P-C-O, to the WTMJ Talk and Text line, 855-616-1620. You can donate there or come on out tomorrow night, Broken Bat Brewery at 7 for WTMJ's Trivia Showdown, presented by Quizmaster Trivia.
Sweet, flaky, and utterly delicious. That's the famous Kringle from O&H Danish Bakery. Guaranteed to get you on the nice list, O&H Danish Bakery can deliver that heavenly goodness right to your doorstep. Now that's a memorable gift where you know you've nailed it. And it arrives fresh in just 2 business days, anywhere within the country. Order online today, ohdanishbakery.com, or come on in to O&H Danish Bakery in Racine, Oak Creek, or Sturnivan and taste the difference of bakery made from scratch.
No matter how many people are in your family, buying new jackets for the cold weather months can be expensive. But when you shop St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores, prices on cold weather jackets will give you a sigh of relief, because thrift store prices mean great deals. And right now we have a great selection. Find great deals on cold weather jackets for the family at St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
By now you've probably figured out what's most important to us at Semperfi is our reputation. Building a great character-driven remodeling company is actually quite easy. It's just the first 20 years that are a bit challenging. Great companies are collections of great people, and we have great people. They're the ones that helped us build our reputation, but they only come after you've built something they want to be part of. We don't necessarily have to look for good people. They come to us. And that's what you want when you hire an exterior remodeling company. Someone who's going to stand behind their work, and a company that is truly proud of their people. And it's because they do great work. And when you're ready, we'll do great work for you too. This is Brad Youngluth with Semper Fi Roofing and Exteriors, your local, veteran-owned and operated exterior remodeling company. For your new roof, siding, window and door installation, or masonry work, you can count on Semper Fi to keep you safe, warm, and dry.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry. Semper Fi.
Relive the enjoyment of holiday shopping with Winky's Hallmark and Gifts selection of holiday decor, gift wrap, cards, and gifts. Carry on traditions with advent calendars, English party crackers, and unique ornaments. Enjoy candies and chocolates made locally and imported from Europe. And set the mood with candles that offer scents from Christmases past. Visit us on the corner of Silver Spring and Lake Drive in Whitefish Bay, or shop online at winkysgifts.com.
Gotta get to Winky's now.
This is What's on Tap with Sandy Max.
So enjoying my time with historian and author John Gerda, and we only have a couple of minutes. We could not talk about Schuster's and the Great Circus Parade. No, I'm so sorry, the Great Christmas Parade. I got my parades.
They're related.
But a text from 262 said, and Schuster's, John, had Billy the Brownie on WTMJ radio each Christmas season.
Yeah, he was the advance agent for Santa, and radio was a big deal back in the 20s. You know, that's when this industry started. It was back in the 1920s. I think the first station in Milwaukee was 22. But he was on the radio every day charting Santa's progress from the North Pole. And you can hear these recordings over at the County Historical Society over on King Drive and Kilbourne. And it's kind of this breathless, kind of a 20s through the 30s, 40s, kind of the breathless voice talking about how close he was and where the reindeer were in the sky and weather conditions. So it was a lot of fun. And they have I think a number of Billy the Brownie, the mannequins who were it was merch.
Yeah,
so,
sure.
So they could move those as well. So he was.
'Tis the season for that kind of a toy, sure, and a little Christmas mascot for the store.
He had millions, or not millions, but certainly thousands of kids in the Milwaukee area just spellbound.
I'll bet. And, it is funny to talk about Schuster's in the store because my parents, I grew up in Louisville, and we would drive up the first weekend of December every year to go to Chicago and walk up and down State Street and
sure.
see all the store displays. Did Milwaukee have something like that?
For sure. And Schuster's, was the biggest department store chain in the state, but you had the downtown stores were Gimbel's on the river and Boston Store on 4th. And they were rivals, so they're not necessarily friendly. And you had one upmanship in terms of the window displays. And we would go down. It was always sort of later in the Christmas season, but my dad would take us down and sort of just to see the windows. And it was earlier versions of animatronics. You sort of jerkily kind of
the simple movements, yeah, like a little wave, a little arm waving,
and continually waving for hours and hours. Heavy on the elves,
Sure. A little movement, maybe a tail wagging with a dog.
Yep, but you'd always compare, because did Gimbel's do better this year or Boston Store? And they were both pretty high caliber. And probably not State Street, that was the longer run there. But there was a great deal to see here.
And a great way to, again, bring people together, give them memories, but also stir up that talk about the stores.
Absolutely.
And who was better. John Gerda, thank you so much for spending time with me. I wish you a Merry Christmas, and find John's books at the Milwaukee County Historical Society, or get the whole list of where to find them at johngerda.com.
Well, it's been a pleasure, Sandy, and I will wish you Gladelig Jul, which is Norwegian, and Wesołych Świąt, which is Polish.
Aw, thank you very much. I would just say it in English. Merry Christmas, John.
Merry Christmas to you.
And now we go to the WTMJ News Center with Sean Brinda.
Thanks, Sandy. Check your bank accounts in the village of Luxembourg. 2 ATMs in the area appear to have been tampered with. An off-duty Kewaunee County Sheriff's officer noticed a person messing with one ATM just after 3 a.m. on Monday. Police arrested the person after a short chase and discovered the second tampered ATM after a short investigation. And the country of Luxembourg will lose its Milwaukee connection next year. Former Milwaukee Mayor Tom Barrett is being replaced as its U.S. ambassador. President-elect Trump is nominating Stacey Feinberg, who is president of the investment firm 33 Capital and a musical theater producer. Barrett served as Milwaukee's mayor from 2004 to 2021 when he was nominated for the ambassador role by President Joe Biden. Take a look at your roads with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic. Right now, we still have some heavy traffic on 94 eastbound from 92nd to 35th. Other than that, roads are clearing up at this time. And time for your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Tonight, we'll get some chance of some light snow with less than a half inch of accumulation and a low of 30 degrees. Wednesday will be partly cloudy with a high of 33 degrees. Thursday will be cloudy with some evening snow with 1 to 3 inches possible and a high of 32 degrees. Friday, we'll get a chance of some snow earlier in the day, but it'll become partly cloudy later on with a high of 32 degrees. And Saturday will be mostly cloudy with a chance of light snow and a high of 30 degrees. Right now in Green Bay, it's 33. In Waukesha, it's 31. And in Milwaukee, it's 36 degrees. I'm Sean Brenda, Sign Unlimited. WTMJ News Time is 6:33.
Okay, close your mouth and take a deep breath in through your nose. So the way it's supposed to be is that you should be able to breathe easily. You shouldn't feel constrained. What it should feel like is air briskly flowing freely through both nasal passages, day and night. And if not, there's a problem. And it's a don't know what your problem really was until you got it fixed kind of problem. You're living with it. I mean, you're tired a lot. It might give you headaches and sinus pressure, but you're living with it. Yeah, you sound like almost every patient we help until we get their problem fixed. And then you hear them saying, why would I put up with that? Advent will get you breathing freely again with simple in-office solutions like turbinate reduction along with balloon sinuplasty that really can change your life.
To date, Advent has solved over 40,000 breathing triangle problems. Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment because Advent knows. When you breathe well, you live better.
AdventKnows.com.
Results may vary.
This change has leveled us up while being able to maintain the same quality of service that we've always provided, with no upfront fees and 1.9% real estate commission. We're proud to be part of the Century 21 family, so you can move fearlessly with the added confidence of top-of-the-line marketing for maximum home exposure. And that means more eyeballs and the real potential for the highest price for your home. This is Angela Calais with Century 21 Benefit Realty, benefit-realty.com, where you pay less for full service. Each office is independently owned and operated. First off, our 1.9% commission structure helps get their foot in the door, and that's why agents like working here. But what they really like is having the strongest marketing tools available, with the resources to help them sell homes at the highest prices to satisfy their clients. Century 21 Benefit Realty offers what agents like most, and that's to help them be successful. If you really want to believe in the business model that you're representing, give me a call. I'm Angela Calais with Century 21 Benefit Realty. Call me, and let's talk about your future. Each office is independently owned and operated.
Restaurant prices are soaring, but not at the Mine Shaft Restaurant in Hartford. WTMJ's John Mercure here, one of my favorite places, family-owned for almost 50 years. I took my daughters there. Great memories. It's super affordable, and it's so much fun. Every Tuesday, the authentic Mexican buffet is all you can eat, and it's just $9.99. It's the best Tuesday dining value, $9.99. Kids 5 and under eat free today from that kids menu. They can safely play in the world-class game room, quietly tucked away from the dining area while you finish up your meal. Stop today after school. Check this out. The Wednesday all-you-can-eat fish fry is just $7.99. Whoa! That's crazy. From 2 till 5 today, beers, cocktails, and appetizers are half price. The Mine Shaft in beautiful downtown Hartford and just off Highway 41 in Oshkosh, right near EAA. Walk in today for the Tuesday all-you-can-eat Mexican buffet for under $10. MineShaftRestaurant.com. It's the amazing Mine Shaft.
What's on Tap with Sandy Max is back on WTMJ.
You are hearing the very local Christmas song called Cathedral Square Christmas, a song by local singer and songwriter Sarah Feierich. Sarah, I say Feierich, and then I heard you introduce yourself to John Gerda as Feierich, F-I-E-R-E-K.
F-I-E-R-E-K. I make it extra complicated, Sandy. Years ago when I was a little girl, I was like, if I'm ever on the radio, I'm going to say my name Feierich. It's technically Feierich.
Okay.
And then when I moved to Milwaukee, I learned that there is like a funeral home named after my name, not spelled the same way. And I was like, I think I need to say Feierich, like the little girl in me. So, here we have it.
Okay.
Complicated last name.
Okay, so I will say Feierich from now on. But I still like your fire. Sarah Feierich.
Yeah, I mean, the little girl in me wanted to be Sarah Feierich on the radio. So, here we are.
All right, Sarah. Well, the one thing we certainly know is you are gifted with singing and with song and with being positive change in the world. So we will get to a lot of that. But I will tell you that the last time I saw you was on Wisconsin Avenue, and you were on the back of a vintage fire truck completely lit up with all sorts of Christmas lights, and you were singing on the top of the fire truck, and Santa was with you. What in the world were you doing?
Well, Milwaukee Downtown has hosted Santa's Cavalcade since COVID times, right? So I have the honor of singing holiday songs through the streets of downtown, and we go past all of the parks that are all dressed in lights, and Santa and Mrs. Claus are there. Sometimes one of the special elves joins as well. And, it really is such a magical time to see all the little ones that are in the park with their family, running up to the truck to see Santa, and then to hear your voice kind of echoed through the streets of downtown Milwaukee is just something that, I can't quite put words to, especially when we go under the underpasses and, your voice just kind of echoes, right?
Yeah.
And I'm here I am. But I do joke that I take the coldest gigs of the year.
Everything was that last Friday?
It was.
It was chilly
brutal.
because I was upstairs here. Our offices at Good Karma Brands face the windows for part of our offices overlook Wisconsin Avenue. And so that was the part of the office I was in. So I was like, I hear this voice. I hear it, and it was like, oh my gosh, that's Sarah. So I got all giddy and tippy toe, and I took video because I was like, I know her. It was almost like Elf when Will Ferrell was like, Santa, I know him. So
yeah, no, I love it. It's getting that too from the bird's eye view.
Yeah.
It's oh, there we are.
And you're real. It's happening. So you've been spreading holiday cheer, not just with the Christmas Cavalcade with Milwaukee Downtown. Where else have you been performing?
Well, I performed on the streetcar Holidays on the Hop last weekend, I think that was. I also did Christmas in the Ward for their tree lighting and 2 cavalcades and then Cocoa with the Clauses. And the song that you played leading into the interview is a song that I wrote called Cathedral Square Christmas. And that song was actually penned inspired by Cocoa at the Clauses at Cathedral Square Park. So I had sang that song or sang the gig there probably I want to say 3 or 4 years ago now. And as soon as I parked my car that day, instantly the snow started to fall right by the cathedral, and it just felt like I was literally living in a snow globe, and that inspired the song. So of course, anytime inspiration strikes for me, I'm always capturing it because you don't live the same moment twice. So I'm really glad that moment happened and I captured.
Were you sitting in your car?
Yeah. And then I was like, okay.
Finding scrap paper?
Mother Nature, can you hear me? Turn the snow globe on. I've been waiting all year and the melody's strong. And then, meet me downtown at Cathedral Square for Cocoa with the Clauses, Carols in the Air. Be sure to bring your letter for the North Pole. So it was really, truly tailor penned by a living experience in Cathedral Square Park in Milwaukee Downtown. And, it's one of those things where you just never know where you're going to find inspiration. And there was a lived moment that I turned into a song that the kids seem to really love when that song is playing when I'm on the vintage fire engine because they come running up and, it has great energy. There's live horns on the record. It's literally one of those records that could probably be played on The Tonight Show if I had the right budgets behind me. But, the gentleman that did the horns, Lloyd Berry, has played with Aretha Franklin, and Roger Ryan produced that record out of Nashville. And it's one of those things as a woman-owned business, too. I'm really proud of the fact that I was the executive producer on that record and own the masters, and I'm able to share my voice and give back to the city in the process of it.
Oh, and that's what I want to talk about. Sarah Ferrick is my guest here in the WTMJ studio on What's on Tap, local singer and songwriter who has a fantastic tradition of creating an original and meaningful Christmas song every holiday season. 5 years strong. We're going to find out your other 4 songs and the organizations that they benefit and learn what your new song is this year. Stay with us on What's on Tap on WTMJ.
Do you know or work with kids who have special healthcare needs? Help them live their best lives. Contact Wisconsin Wayfinder Children's Resource Network. Our specialists will connect you with services in your area. Wisconsin Wayfinder is free and confidential. Call 877-947-2929 or visit dhs.wi.gov/WISCWAY. Connect today. Sponsored by the Wisconsin Department of Health Services.
Did you know that military veterans in Wisconsin carry millions of dollars in debt? This holiday season, it's time to give back to those who have given so much. Verizon and the Milwaukee Bucks are teaming up with ForgiveCo to make a difference with the Verizon Debt Relief Program. All December long, Verizon and ForgiveCo will relieve $250,000 of debt each week to ease the burden on local heroes. To find out how military veterans and members can receive special Verizon offers, visit verizon.com/military. Let's bring the spirit of giving to those who served.
The clock's ticking, but there's still plenty of time to save on great Christmas gifts at Fleet Farm. 'Tis the season for ice fishing, and we're knocking 10% off select rods, reels, tip-ups, lures, huts, you name it. Visit Toyland and save up to 40% on a bunch of toys for the kids. So come on in and wrap up your shopping today at Fleet Farm, home of the best gift prices guaranteed.
Easttown Jewelers in Mequon is closing its doors after 40 years. Savings up to 70% on everything. They have a great selection of diamond rings and earrings, pendants, gold and silver jewelry, colored gemstone rings, and Mary's custom designs, and much more. Looking to get the perfect gift for someone special this holiday season? You've got to check them out. They also buy gold and you'll receive instant cash. Store hours are Tuesday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Doors will be closing December 28th, so don't delay. That's Easttown Jewelers in Mequon.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
Welcome back to What's on Tap on WTMJ.
You are hearing Light It Up, a song by Sarah Fierick, her official Christmas song that she created last year. And who's that little voice?
That little voice is my little godson, Joseph, and it's the sweetest thing. I actually had him record that on Halloween as he was dressed as Spider-Man in my home studio. And I was like, Jojo, we need your voice on this record. So yes, he's now 6. Lovely little one. I don't have children myself, so my godson is sort of like the one that I keep saying, you're going to take care of godmother when she's old, right?
But you get to experience Christmas through a 6-year-old and be in his energy and aura. And so that was last year's song. Can we roll back to because we're about to get to your 5th Christmas song. Mm-hmm. But when did you start this? What was the first holiday song? And did you know it would be a tradition?
Yeah, well, the reason every year when I'd kind of taken a break from music and I spent some time in nonprofit, and every year throughout that process, I would record one holiday record for a community organization called Agape Community Center. They used to do a project where it would help fuel their community meals program. And I kept singing a cover every year, and that was like keeping the dream alive. And then one year somebody wanted to hear Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas. And I was like, maybe I shouldn't have given up on music back when I did, and I should sing again. So that was how I first started releasing music, because it felt kind of like the safe way to release music was holiday covers, right? And not safe from I was scared of something else, but just having navigated some waters as a young musician, I went through some things, so I had to navigate that and learn from it. And then, it was really during COVID where I wrote the first holiday original, which I wrote it in July, and it was a song called Christmas in July. And I really wanted it to be something that was going to uplift the community and bring people together. And, we shot the cover right up by the No Studios area with Cream City Brick behind us, and an MG, vintage car convertible with presents in the back. And it was really quite special.
I love an MG.
Right? Me too.
Good
my friend
British
Marcus
sports car.
was like, sure, you can use the MG. And I'm like, perfect.
Maybe not reliable, but great prop to put presents on.
Yeah. I'm a car gal. So, and then every year after that, I just felt like moved to continue to do the Christmas record or the holiday
Christmas
record.
in July, did you partner with a charitable organization?
So for that, it's really been all about like helping homelessness in the beginning. That was my first release, was about helping end chronic homelessness. So I partnered with Key to Change on some of the early releases, and then the Cathedral Center and uplifting their mission. And, I donated some of my Sincerely in Song hats to their organization as well. And really the holiday records were to start all about helping the homeless population and organizations that were really helping to serve that population. And fast forward into now, I've also done a lot of dedications to our veterans in the city and across our state and our world. And, actually, if there's a veteran out there listening, if they go to my website, they can access any of my music free of charge by adding code veteran or USO. So giving the gift of song. And
that's Sincerely in Song.
Correct, yes.
See, you're walking the walk. It's easy to remember, sincerelyinsong.com to hear Sarah's music. And because last year's Light It Up, you specifically dedicated that to veterans.
Yes, and Center for Veterans Issues is something that's really important. They're right now working on a renovation that's focused on expanding the transitional housing facility, and they'll have 81 rooms for homeless veterans and folks going through transitional housing and getting into permanent supportive housing. And that's right on 34th and Wells. So, really uplifting, using my voice to help amplify and uplift causes. And the vision for Sincerely in Song is to not just be me doing it, but to partner with up to 6 musicians annually and pair them with causes that they're passionate about and build music partnerships for humanity. So I'm really excited about, being able to not have to wait to give back. Right? It's like you can give back in every step of your journey and use your voice with purpose. And I think, really leaning into that, because some of the impetus was when I was a little girl, I wrote a letter that talked about how I wanted to help the homeless with my voice. And when I found that letter, literally in 2019, I was like, well, why can't I do it like the 10-year-old me wanted to do it? So that's how it really started. And, it's like listening to that inner child.
That's wonderful. And you, like you said, every step of the journey, you're walking the walk to make a positive difference. I want to quickly touch on your new song and the organization that it benefits, and then we will hear it as the song you need to hear next. What is the 2024 Christmas song from Sarah Fierick?
Well, it's called A Chair for You on Christmas Day, and it's really dedicated to anyone out there that may be missing a loved one this holiday season. Most of my other holiday records have always been my place for my happy and joyful side. And this particular year, my dad's sister, Leon, my aunt, passed away. And after my dad passed, every year she would remind me, pull out a chair, even though they're not here, they're with us. So that's the impetus of the song and really the inspiration behind the song. And, the reminder of keeping our loved ones' spirits alive and knowing that, it can be a really hard season for people. So, sometimes we have to talk about that and still find the joy in it, too.
Mm-hmm. And is there an organization you're working with this year?
Center for Veterans Issues is a continued organization for this year in the holiday record. Again, it has a sentimental feel to the song, which I think a lot of folks out there listening that, come from military families or have veterans in their life may also have this resonate with them. And again, it's a cause that I think that, we should never be in a situation where any of our veterans are left behind. And my father, who, part of this song is dedicated to, was very passionate about supporting our veterans. So that legacy is going to continue on with helping to amplify their mission.
We'll hear Sarah's song next on What's on Tap.
Make holiday magic this year with something beautiful and timeless from Diamonds Direct. At Diamonds Direct, we have hundreds of styles that are ready to be wrapped and put under the tree. No need to wait for shipping. For some fabulous ideas before you head to the store, see the online seasonal gift guide now at DiamondsDirect.com. We've got special financing so you can spread out your payments. Get directions, details, special showroom hours, and our holiday gift guide now at DiamondsDirect.com. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion.
Hey, I'm Sandy Max. A quick reminder that tomorrow night at 7 is the last of the WTMJ Trivia Showdowns presented by Quizmaster Trivia in support of Capco's Kids to Kids Toy Drive. Tomorrow night, 7 o'clock at Broken Bat Brewery, and bring along an unused, unwrapped toy so you can make a kid's Christmas bright, and bring your friends so you can have some fun. That is tomorrow night, 7 o'clock at Broken Bat Brewery, WTMJ's Trivia Showdown presented by Quizmaster Trivia. And if you can't make it, you can still help out by making a monetary donation. We'll send you the link if you text CAPCO, K-A-P-C-O, to the WTMJ Talk and Text line 855-616-1620.
Staying active, essential for overall health. Proper medical support, essential for staying active. WTMJ's Vince Vitrano for Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Whether it's keeping a weekend warrior like me on the tennis court or keeping young athletes in the game, you want the best in sports medicine, that's OAW. Surgeons, nurses, and physical therapists help you recover from injury, avoid injury in the future, and enhance performance. Get care 7 days a week. Walk right in at an Ortho ASAP clinic or book an appointment online at orthowisconsin.com.
Behold, I come to do your will. Archbishop Listecki here. From the little town of Bethlehem, representing the smallest of clans, God would produce the Savior of the world. From the smallest of things faithfully performed by us, God will make great things happen. The words spoken by Elizabeth to Mary could be addressed to us. Blessed are you who believed that what was spoken to you by the Lord would be fulfilled. It's Advent. Join us at Mass.
AccuNet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
Patrick and Monica initially chose a bank to get pre-approved and provide financing for the purchase of their first home. But they were getting a bad feeling when a week after their offer was accepted, the bank still hadn't locked in their rate, nor had the appraisal been ordered. Monica shared her concerns with a friend who happened to be a multi-time AccuNet client. That led to Monica connecting with one of our senior loan consultants the same day, and after gathering some information and reviewing options, we locked in their rate right then and there with loan costs $3,600 lower than what the bank had quoted. The appraisal was ordered right away too, and the loan closed on time just 3 weeks later. We also noticed an oversight in the contract that led to a $3,000 credit from the seller. You can get a generic pre-approval and average or worse service from a bank, or you can get the kind of fast service, advice, attention to detail, and savings that made Monica and Patrick AccuNet's latest raving fans. All you got to do to get started is click on the blue button at AccuNet.com. That's ACCUNET.com.
You're listening to What's on Tap with Sandy Max on WTMJ. And now, feast your ears. This is the song you need to hear.
Most blokes are going to be playing at 10. These go to 11.
I'm Sarah Furick, and this song is a cheer for you on Christmas Day. I'd also like to thank my producer, Derek Lindsay, for producing this record, and I hope you enjoy it. Happy holidays, Milwaukee. You can check out the full song at sincerelyinsong.com.
They go to heaven. What do they do? Christmas Day, there's a chair pulled out for you. Though you're not with me, still feel the hue. Christmas Days cherished with you. And all the special times, a jukebox in my mind, playing all the records loud and true. Colors shining bright, the warmth of love tonight will light up every star in every room. They go to heaven. What do they do?
right, and I'll agree. It does sound too good to be true. But offering you affordable treatment that alleviates pain, which really does work, that we've seen in most cases, insurance paid for in full